It was just 3 weeks ago that the Colts came into Nashville and beat the Titans 34-17 on their own field. They threw the AFC South race up for grabs, essentially. At that point, the two teams were tied. They both won their next game. They go to Indianapolis. They were both 7-3 heading into Sunday, but the Titans exacted revenge by going up to Indy and winning. John Burton was there and has more with this postgame report.
17 days ago, it was the Indianapolis Colts who stormed into Nissan Stadium on a Thursday night and dominated the Titans in all three phases. On Sunday, the two-tone blue more than returned the favor in a dominating 45-26 win that vaults Tennessee back on top in the AFC South. It started out like an old-fashioned shootout. The Titans and Colts combined for 4 touchdowns in their first 4 possessions. But Tennessee closed the half with 21 unanswered points, thanks to Derrick Henry, who rushed for 140 yards and 3 touchdowns, all in the first half, behind a dominant offensive line that took advantage of an undermanned Colts defense.
They did a great job today, opening up holes, driving the guy back in front of them, playing well collectively, and I just had to go out there and do my job.
You know, that's the way we like to play, playing physical. You know, Derrick was running his tail off. The O-line was getting a ton of movement, creating lanes up front. You know, we saw big plays from AJ and Corey. You know, it was really a complete first half for us.
After a shaky start, the Titans defense settled down, pressuring Phillip Rivers and shutting down the Indy run game. The Colts offense combined for 136 yards in their first 2 touchdown drives, but could only muster 200 yards for the rest of the game after that.
Once we got settled in, just started playing our brand of ball, things settled down, and we started getting some stops, getting off the field.
I thought we did disrupt them. We got our hands up at times. We had a lot of PBUs from where I was standing. We coached better and played better.
So once again, the Titans have clawed their way to become the top dogs in the AFC South Division. But the team was quick to say after Sunday's win, this is no time to get complacent.
We want to keep improving as the season gets into the last stretch here. Obviously, be playing our football at our best whenever we head into December.
When asked how much his team has improved over the last couple of weeks, Titans head coach Mike Vrabel said, "We just beat the Ravens and the Colts back-to-back on the road. I'd say we're moving in the right direction." In Indianapolis, John Burton, News Channel 5 Sports.
JB, thank you very much. We will get back to you and Jay Hutt momentarily, but let's go back to the phones right now. Say hello to Kerry. Kerry, what's going on? Thanks for the call.
Oh, how are you?
Good.
One thing I noticed Sunday, and I think it's going to throw, just a personal observation, that's going to throw the rest of the defenses off. The way Derrick Henry runs, they were expecting that 3rd and 1 to go to him, and Tannehill just walked in the end zone with it.
There's no.
So I think that's going to. Tannehill just walked in the end zone with it, basically.
Yep.
He faked that handoff to Derrick, and it was so smooth. It's going to spread the defenses out the rest of the season because they're not going to know where he's going.
Well, there's no question about it. The presence of Derrick Henry on the field and the fact that teams have to load the box and put 8 and 9 guys up there to try to stop him all of the time because of how effective he is, that opens things up. It means that they can throw the ball downfield. That's why the Titans have been probably the best play-action passing team over the last 2.5 years because of Derrick Henry. And you bring up something important there, Kerry, at the goal line. You're not going to run Ryan Tannehill a lot throughout the course of the game because you don't want him to take those shots. But when you get down there close, as you saw on Sunday, that's the perfect time to bring it out. You send the whole line one way with Derrick Henry behind him, and you get the entire defense to follow. It opens things up, and you're right. Tannehill just walked right in. I think you'll see more of that, especially as the games get bigger and bigger and you move into the postseason when the Titans get close to the goal line.
They were positive that he was going to get it, you know.
Sure.
And the defense did play a lot better in the second half.
No question about it.
They all play better in the second half. They're like a second half team.
Well, they understood
personal opinion.
Yeah. Well, Kerry, we appreciate the call. Titans have finished strong this year, and they understand that the Colts are a second-half team. And frankly, in the first meeting here in Nashville, Indianapolis beat them up in the second half. The Colts scored the final 24 points of that game, and that's how they won 34-17. And I think the Titans were, whether they will say it or not, I think they were embarrassed by that performance. The idea that they let in a primetime game, one of their rivals in the AFC South, frankly a nemesis for many years, to come into Nissan Stadium and punk them like that in the second half of a game and win, I think that bothered them. I think it stuck with them. I think they talked about it a lot. A.J. Brown specifically said, hey, I dropped a touchdown in that game. I thought about it for 2 weeks. I thought about dropping that ball and not making a play that I needed to make for 2 whole weeks. I think the whole team thought about that for 2 whole weeks. And they were ready to go on Sunday. And guess what? Against that same team in the second half, the Titans were really good. Titans did what they needed to do. And they win the football game. And now they have the edge in this race as they head down the stretch of the season. All right, time to go back to Indianapolis now. We'll catch in again with John Burton, Jonathan Hutton, looking at this offense and where they go from here down the stretch.
John Burton, Jonathan Hutton back here at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indy. And Jay Hutt, when you look at this Titans offense, sure, we know about Derrick Henry, that offensive line in the running game, but you look at the wide receiver duo right now, A.J. Brown and Corey Davis, both starting to have big games in the same game. If that continues, this offense is going to be even more dangerous to stop down the road.
Yeah, and they're coming up in big moments. The Titans faced a penalty. Next play, 69-yard score for A.J. Brown in that first quarter that made it 14-7. And then right before the half, Corey Davis with a beautiful sliding grab that allowed Ryan Tannehill the rushing touchdown right before halftime. Both of these players are making big plays at crucial times to keep drives alive, drive-extending plays, and they're also reaching the end zone. Consistent play on the outside, setting up a great play-action game for their quarterback, Ryan Tannehill.
Up next, another big AFC game for the Titans, another 8-3 team coming to town, the Cleveland Browns. You think the Titans have a good running game? The Browns have 2 stud running backs, Kareem Hunt, former NFL rushing champ, and Nick Chubb. A big challenge for the Titans defense.
Nick Chubb with 144 rushing yards today in Jacksonville, career high for him. He's been banged up about a month ago, and since he's returned, 3 consecutive 100-yard performances. The Browns as a team rush for over 200. The Titans reached that mark today with 5 minutes to go in the third quarter, but Cleveland up front, they get it done. They lead the league in rushing yards per game. They lead the league in yards per carry. This will be an all-out battle by both defensive fronts. And the time of possession, which recently, John, has been in the Titans' favor, they need to win that again against Cleveland next week.
Yeah, Browns barely hold on to beat the Jaguars, but they do get the dub. And it's about to turn December now on the NFL calendar. It's go time, so time to go 1-0 each week. He's Jonathan Hutton. I'm John Burton. We're in Indy. We'll send it back to Nashville.
Thank you very much, guys. Great stuff from there on a great Titans win, 45-26. Our phone lines are still open, 737-7767. We'll take a break. We'll come back, can get to more of your calls in the final segment, or we can hear from some of the Titans in the locker room as well. Don't go anywhere. This is Titans Talk on NewsChannel 5+.